You really have to become, if you're going to truly, truly launch not just a dog training business, but any business, you need to become the subject matter expert in that community. People need to know who you are. If somebody if I ask you what was the best comedian show of your time, for me, I know it's Seinfeld. But everybody knows if I say Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld. Well, if somebody came to me and within just a few months, I just launched a brand new dog training business and said, who's the best dog trainer? They're going to say Lianne, because you've been out there. Your face is everywhere. Your reputation is everywhere.
Hey, welcome everybody. I'm Lianne Shinton from Automation Dogs, and thank you for joining me on my podcast where I generally speak to dog trainers and I bring guests on that can help dog trainers more from the business side of things. And one of my mentors, longtime friends, Grant Reeves, is joining us today. Welcome, Grant.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
Yes. And I'm really excited to talk to you today because of your creative business mind, all of the things that you have built. But I have some great fun questions too. I'm hoping we can kind of take a deep dive into Grant so we can, kind of get inspired by you. Sound good?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, even in our personal lives, the conversations you and I have usually end up being somewhat very creative. So I'm excited for this. Yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this. I've looked at some of the other podcasts and I think they go in a very unique direction sometimes. So this is going to be fun. Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, as a good icebreaker before we really dive in, if Jurassic Park were a real place, like a real park that you could visit, would you go?
Without a doubt, 100%.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Me too. We'll be out there clicker training velociraptors. I might need a beverage.
That's where my mind went to. Why? Because I would want to have a connection with the animals. As much as I love the people, I would want to have that connection with the animals.
Love it. All right. Do you want me to dive into some questions or do you want to share a little bit about yourself? Maybe, I guess, a little bit about Canada to the US, any of that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you and I are fellow Canadians, imported to the U.S. I've been working down here for going on 38 years. I'm soon to become a U.S. citizen, which I'm very excited about after all this time. Yeah,
Congratulations.
I'm just at the final stages. So I expect with the way politics works and the government moves in its slow way, it'll be probably by December, but I'm excited about that. But I still have my roots in Canada. I still have family in Canada. My sister's out up in the Toronto area, just outside of Toronto. And I'm Floridian now. I'm a very, very happy Floridian. As you can see in the background, living in Florida full time.
Palm trees.
Still came up. I love the palm trees, love the boating. Tampa is on fire. Anybody ever wants to move to Florida, Tampa's the place. And we still have a place in Ohio, but my 18-year-old, soon to be 19-year-old daughter is killing it at Florida Gulf Coast University. Just so proud of her. And Teresa and I, for those people that know my wife, Teresa and I are, on the semi-retirement train. So that's me in a nutshell.
Love it. Well, congratulations on almost becoming a United States of America citizen. You're getting there. Do you have to take the test? We have to go in and take the test. I took the test.
I'm excited for that. Yeah. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to raise my hand. Listen, the United States has been so generous, and I have so much gratitude for what United States has been able to offer and how successful we've been. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity. We already are, but I'm looking forward to continuing to pay it back and pay it forward.
Oh, well, that'll be awesome. They have such a great naturalization ceremony. And I get to go to a ceremony soon. Brett's little brother is in the Navy and he's in the boot camp. And so in Chicago, I get to drive up there and see his graduation ceremony. And I'm just going to cry the whole time. I'm so excited.
Especially this year. I mean, 250 years and all the celebration that's going on. It's just amazing. And I mean, the patriotism is at its absolute peak right now. And the one thing about the United States, Canadians are very patriotic to an extent. But when you drive around the smallest town, the largest city, I mean, the patriotism just it's incredible. And I thrive on that. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Canada's very patriotic as well with our Tim Hortons and, you know, Tim
It's
Hortons.
addictive. I still think they put something in that coffee.
That's good stuff. All right. So, my first question for you, if money were no object, what would your dream job be?
If money were no object, what would my dream job be? It's
Hmm.
pretty easy. I would think keynote speaking, motivational speaker. I love to bring high energy to everything I do. And I'm actually kind of leaning into that a little bit right now, in small ways. But I think being able to be a motivational speaker and help people through trials and tribulations, solve problems that people say are unsolvable, I think it stays hand in hand with what I've done my whole life. So if money were no object, travel the world delivering incredible messages through keynote speaking.
I like that answer so much, and that suits you so well. All right.
We'll see.
What's a small thing that makes life way better?
That's a good question because as of late, I've been doing a lot of personal work on myself over the last couple of years. And I used to think that, the big wins were what you needed to focus on.
Mm.
But it's funny how the small wins stack up if you're actually paying attention to them. And for me, not just feeling appreciated, but recognizing how somebody else feels when you can show gratitude and appreciation to them. So recognizing the time or the opportunity and actually acting on it to show gratitude. That's very, very important. It didn't used to be in my life for many, many years. I realize how important it is now.
Yeah. Two things that stood out for me with that statement, the gratitude and being thankful, such a great way to live your life. And also you hear that saying, it's not what you say to people, it's how they remember how they felt when you talk to them. It's not what you said, it's how they felt, and that's what they remember.
Yeah, I've come to realize that there's different approaches. People have different personalities, but you can sometimes the subtle approach. I mean, Leanne, you and I have known each other a long time. If somebody told you or me it couldn't be done, we would get it done. That's the personalities we are. But you can still have that approach, but you can be subtle about it sometimes. And I've learned a lot over the last couple of years about that. Which for me is, as I get older, as I'm in the first third of the last third of my life, as they say, I'm realizing that slow is steady, steady is smooth, and smooth is fast in everything that you do in life.
Awesome. Great answers. This is very going to be very inspiring, I'm sure. What is something most people don't know about you?
Something most people don't know about you. That's an interesting one. Well, I have activity wise. Um, I race cars. I love racing cars. I love motorsports, but I don't know how many people know about me. And I love to go fast. I'm an adrenaline junkie. But on a personal note, something people don't know about me. I have a hard time showing vulnerability in front of strangers, but I'm getting better at it, and I'm realizing that it's actually a better way to communicate with people sometimes. So, but that's something a lot. If you met me on the street as a complete stranger, you'd think like there's no way that guy's ever going to open up in front of me because it's hard for me.
Is it that you don't want anybody to know you're not perfect and things aren't perfect?
Yeah, I think it goes back to, we all wear these masks in front of strangers most of the time. And you really, just take the mask off and be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a very small circle of people that I can be myself in front of, actually, both in business and in personal. And I'm learning that the more that you can be yourself with anybody and everybody, the more you reap the rewards. Just be you. And it's pretty cool. But for the longest time, I had a hard time doing that. I always thought, oh, you have to put up this show, this wall, this image. And no, you don't. Doesn't matter. People accept you for who you are. And if they don't, guess what? They're not important. You can only
Yeah.
offer to help them.
Yeah, I totally get that. Just, that kind of fake it till you make it, act like you got it all together kind of thing. But really just opening up about, some of the struggles can help inspire other people and help other people learn from those, that journey.
Well, the struggles we've been on, not just personally, but professionally. I mean, in the world and the circle I run in now, we share those struggles with each other. And by me sharing struggles and challenges and hurdles and obstacles I've overcome in business, other businessmen benefit from that. And they may
Hmm.
not see it because, sometimes you can't see the light from the sun that shines directly in your eyes. And these challenges are pretty bright sometimes. But if you just open up and aren't afraid to share the challenges that you went through and the pain that you suffered through some of these and the way you solved them, that's just paying it forward and helping other people. So I think that's kind of part of being vulnerable, and especially in front of other business people. I mean, who wants to let your guard down? Oh, I have to be perfect.
Exactly.
Well, guess what? Not any one of them out there are perfect. There's nobody perfect.
Yes. All right. What is a hill that you're willing to die on? Meaning something that you believe in so strongly, you'll argue for it every time.
Honesty. Honesty. I was going to say my family, but everybody knows I would die. I would go to the end of the earth and back. But honesty, it's really, I have had over the years a lot of trust issues. I've had a lot of issues trusting people, and I've had a lot of issues when people didn't trust me. And again, being on this personal journey and doing the work that I'm doing, I've come to learn that trust is really important, and trust is earned, don't get me wrong. But as long as people are honest all the time, if you're honest with people and people are honest with you, there's really nothing that can't be accomplished or achieved between parties.
Awesome. All right. This is a good one. And this one might fall under honesty. And I know you're probably working on some amazing things, but what is a goal that you're quietly working towards?
Well, I should be saying full retirement, but I've been told by my wife and others that that's never going to happen. On a personal note, I am looking at um, a business opportunity right now that would afford me, goes along with, the keynote speaking, but would afford me the opportunity to do a lot of traveling. Teresa and I have made a lot of sacrifices in the last 25 years and since we've been together, and I before that for 15 years. And I want to reap the rewards. I want to travel 4 to 8 times a year, with 2 or 3 times of those times being like travel, not working travel. I mean, back in the day, we would travel 35, 40 weeks a year, and it was always
Hmm.
work. Well, now I want to go and explore the rest of the world. So I'm quietly in the background putting a plan together to allow for the opportunity that I can travel and still work instead of always work for travel.
That sounds like an amazing plan and just such a great fit for you. I um I was hired once by a professional speaker to bring a dog so that when he went on stage, he could have the dog. And whenever he traveled around to these different venues to speak, he hired a local animal actor. And sometimes it was a basset hound that just like laid on the stage. My dog, of course, did all these tricks. And so I showed him, in the green room, hey, here's what you do. And he took my dog out there on the stage and everything. And I thought that was just such a really sweet, kind way to present yourself, is just having a dog. Everybody's like, "Aw." So maybe that's something you can do as you're out there speaking.
That it's interesting that you say that, because in a different conversation in a different arena, somebody asked me what I do, what I've done for a living, and it boils down to I've been involved either with dogs or families, kids, in every career thing I've done for most of my life. It's either been pets in the pet space, dogs, dog wizard, training dogs at an early age, or motorsports, i.e., family. And it's interesting because I think I can relate to the dogs better than the people, to be honest with you. Unless I'm in a business setting. Now, I haven't had a boardroom full of dogs trying to sell them or pitch them, but I relate to the dogs better than the people most of the time.
Yeah, I know you love the dogs. You've put together some amazing events that include dogs, um, dogs, badass dash, things like that. Just amazing to help people to have relationships with their dog and have experiences with their dog. You've you've made a lot of memories for people, including on my wall there, my Hall of Fame uh, picture there of Rex and me.
Well earned. I mean, listen, we always talk about the good old days and dogs and stuff. And remember when it was a tight group and we were all so passionate. I mean, again, I've stepped out of the dogs world and the community now, but oh my God, some of the best memories of my lifetime come from dogs.
Yes, agreed. Me too. Yep. And yeah, you've been the base of all that. So thank you.
Teresa and I were 22 years, longest I've ever been at anything in my life, and almost including marriage.
Awesome. All right. If you could press a button and become world class at one thing overnight, what would it be?
That's a tough one, because that's going to sound like I'm bragging. I would be a race car driver right out of
Are
the
you
gate.
already a race car driver?
Yeah, but world class. I'm a long way from it. I'm out there spending money, having fun. But honestly, if I could press a button, I think, listen, if I could become world class, I think I would want to be involved in something with Elon Musk for the next chapter of the Earth's life. I would love to be, if I could press a button right now and fast forward to, 2030, 2035 and be on his team in some way or some form or fashion, that I could have an opportunity to travel off this planet, I would go in a minute. That would be a huge opportunity.
Wow. See, I turned that question on myself and I was like, I would really just like to be a good cook, be like chef quality or something like.
I'm sure you are.
But that answer is like light years. I couldn't imagine anybody else thinking of such a creative and just forward thinking response to that question. That's cool.
That's true. That's where my brain goes. I think it would be a huge opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. All
But
right.
they ain't sending 61-year-old gentlemen up into space anymore these days. The last Canadian was William Shatner, and he got the opportunity to at least look back at it. So that was cool.
If you had to start over in a completely different career tomorrow, which I think you kind of do this all the time as you move, your life into these different businesses, this different plan. But if you had to start over in a completely different career tomorrow, what would you pick?
It's interesting because, while the nucleus has always been motorsports, the pet space, or family for me, which is three different directions. I was over in Amsterdam in Holland for a week with some fellow businessmen, and one of the gentlemen that I was with is a stockbroker, but he is a current stockbroker, like as in the way they trade now. There's no more on the floor yelling and screaming type of stuff. And I always thought that would be cool to do that. But what he does in finance now and the way that he does it, I really got a chance to peel back the curtain with him. And it is a Wizard of Oz type of thing. So I think if I was to start over, first, I would have gone to school and graduated properly and not just learned how to drink beer and party. Second, I probably would have gone into something along the way of finance where I could have, knowing, again, hindsight's always 2020, but it's such an adrenaline rush and challenging. So I would have been in finance and something on Wall Street probably.
Yeah, I could see that for you. You never know, maybe still.
But is that The Wolf of Wall Street? Is that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yep. Yeah, I think so. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one in a while.
Without the partying, without the party.
Yeah. All right. If your life had a warning label, what would it say?
That's an easy one. Slow down, workaholic. Not allowed. Something slow down, workaholic.
Yeah, that work-life balance thing. It's tough.
Yeah. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting a lot better at it. But yeah, my life would have definitely been, that's it. The term would have been work-life balance. That would have been the warning label.
Yeah. I've been thinking, I think about this because I have the same problem. And I was thinking, I'm going to put it in ChatGPT and just say, give me tips on having more work-life balance, like put my phone down or whatever it might be. But I think we can probably just use AI to at least start implementing some better habits, because I know the feeling when it's just nonstop.
A friend of mine has challenged me as of late, and he does this. I don't know if I haven't tried it yet, but 8:00, the phone goes in the drawer. 8:00 in the evening. I think my schedule now is I'm done at 3 p.m. I take personal time, and at 3 p.m. I'm not supposed to work. But with this damn phone sitting beside you or in your hand, or commercial breaks, or my wife gets up to go to the restroom at a restaurant, I check my messages. So you really don't check out. And I thought that was a cool challenge, but could you actually put your phone in the drawer at 8:00 at night and not look at it until after you work out in the morning? That would be tough.
Yeah, it'd be really tough. Sometimes to fall asleep, I'll put headphones in and I'll listen to like a psychological thriller, because that's really calming for me. So I'd have to find another device to be able to do that. But I think, the thing is, like, you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is check your phone. If I could break that habit, that would make me happy. And this would be a solution for it. Be tough.
I don't know if you probably wouldn't be surprised, but I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is 20-minute meditation now. I absolutely do every morning, 20 minutes of meditation. And it has been life-changing for me over the last 15 to 16 months. The way I approach each day has been absolutely an incredible way. It just sets you up for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have said this is all woo-woo. But there's a reason that, that meditation and the different energy exploration of people's and going into different energy, positive versus negative energy. There's a reason this is taking hold on society. We live in a society right now that's so challenging with so much evil around us. The only way to combat it is to really, look into oneself and then share that with the people around you.
So is it like a YouTube video, or how would people get started to implement and learn about meditation in the morning?
I personally love Joe Dispenza and his meditation, and he has it depending on where you're at in life and what stage you're at. He has something for everybody, but he also takes the time to teach you how to meditate properly. And that's very, very key, because a lot of people just sit down and think it's, the hippie stuff where you're sitting at the end of your dock with your legs crossed in an uncomfortable position, humming to yourself. There may be an application for that, but the reality of it is, I still live by this: amateurs create, professionals steal, don't reinvent the wheel. He is one of the gurus of meditation. So go where the right answers are.
I like that. And what was his name again?
Joe Dispenza. If you look him up on YouTube, he's got hundreds and hundreds of not only instructional videos, but pre-taped YouTube videos that you can just sit and listen to every morning, every evening. There's something, if you're feeling happy, sad, glad, mad, there's something for everybody.
And you just like get up a little bit early in the morning and try to fit it into the morning?
No, I make it a priority. I roll over, put my ear pods in, and I hit YouTube and play one of the saved ones that I have. And I listen to it before I get out of bed every morning. It doesn't matter if I'm in a hotel, traveling on business, or at home. It's the first thing I do. And I have to tell you, it literally does set your day up, because you take a beat, you take a pause, and you think about what you're about to do for the day.
Oddly, kind of what I do with my psychological thrillers, but maybe not getting the same result.
I'm not sure how to interpret psychological thriller. Is there knives and guns and axes in that? Or is it like,
It's
no, I'm going to understand how I'm going to manifest this day into success?
yeah. It's just, the whodunits. And it just gets my mind off of everything because I'm like, who did it? So I guess I'm kind of meditating with that, but your way
You are.
sounds much healthier.
No, I think your way challenges the synaptic nerves in your brain a little more as well. I think that's pretty cool.
All right. The next one's kind of interesting. I'm curious to hear your answer. What's something you enjoy that most people would find boring?
If you'd asked my wife up until a year and a half ago, she would have said Fox News. But we're not going to go there. We're not going to be political. What that people would find boring? That's a really interesting. I would have to say, as of late, I'm exploring a lot of things that have to do with the divine universe and the energy, at a DNA level. So most people go like, but
Yeah, I'm bored.
I find it absolutely fascinating and interesting. And I'm digging in deeper and deeper by the day.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that because I'm kind of curious.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into the whole God factor and religion and tell everybody what's right, what's wrong, or what's indifferent. Everybody has their own paths to follow. But if you believe in the divine universe and you believe that there's an energy within, then and I can find it. I can go there and find it. And exploring it and understanding it is something that intrigues me now. So I want to understand, where did life come from at a DNA level? How did we come here? Not in a biblical sense, but in a scientific sense. And
Yeah,
that just intrigues the hell out of me.
I was listening to a podcast with somebody who really dove deep into that. I'm going to look it up and share it with you. You
If you're
probably already.
interested, look at Greg Braden.
Okay. I wonder if that's the same guy that I was listening to.
Yeah, Greg Brennan.
Sounds like him.
He is fascinating.
Yeah, I think it might be the same guy. It was on a podcast I was listening to, and it was fascinating. So,
I would challenge anybody to not get interested after listening to his podcast or the book, The God Code. It's pretty
yeah,
fascinating.
that's the same guy. Yep. Cool. Okay, so I really like this question because of your business mind. So I want you to pretend, because most of my audience is dog trainers. If you had to, let's say, rebuild a dog training business from scratch in a new city, what would be the first things that you would do?
Well, I have a little bit of this is a trade secret that's not necessarily confidential, but I have a little bit of an advantage in that in working through the Dog Wizard program and growing that company from very small, 13, 14 franchises to over 100 plus territories. One of the things that we've been focused on is a thing called the 7 pillars. And it's actually, if you look it up, Rune Savadal wrote the book on how to market a new company, and the 7 pillars are important. And yes, we all know about the traditional SEO, GMB, Meta, blah, blah, blah. But what really drives a business is understanding your market and being able to market based on organic approach. You
Mm-hmm.
really have to become, if you're going to truly, truly launch not just a dog training business, but any business, you need to become the subject matter expert in that community. People need to know who you are. If somebody says if I asked you what was the best comedian show of your time, for me, I know, Seinfeld. But everybody knows if I say Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld. Well, if somebody came to me and within just a few months, I just launched a brand new dog training business. Said, who's the best dog trainer? They're going to say Lianne because you've been out there. Your face is everywhere. Your reputation is everywhere. Your knowledge is out there. The vets know you. The dog parks know you. And if you're not willing to go to that extent specifically in the dog training business, because everything else you can spend money at, and you will be successful. You'll make a living. But to truly be the best of the best in a small community or a territory, you have to do the organic stuff.
And the organic stuff, boots on the ground, go into the vets, drop off your carts, drop off some cookies, um, put yourself out there. Um, let's think of some other tips to.
AI is changing the landscape on how we all compete in any business we're in. But it's not going to be the only thing. And the funny thing about AI is if you and I are going head to head and you're doing AI and I'm doing AI, how can I be more competitive and more successful in the market? I can support it with those old traditional things. I mean,
Mhm,
how many times have you heard people say, "Oh, I got the voice machine"? Well, you're not going to get away from an automated voice answer anymore because dollars and cents dictate that. But if I'm going to the vet on a weekly basis and you're showing up monthly, who's leaving the organic impression? Who's going to get the call? And it's as simple breakdown as that. So as much as we have all this new technology and we're getting faster and quicker and better, some of the old tools still work. And if you use those old tools, you're only bolstering what's going on.
yeah, some other old school tools, answer the phone, talk to people, wrap your vehicle. And when someone comes up to you and you're loading your groceries in the van and it's got, your dog training business on the van, talk to them. Don't give them the
QR
stink eye.
codes. QR
Yeah.
codes on your van, on your business cards. I mean, don't everybody, we still have some old school people, but put a QR code. It costs pennies on the dollar. It's the cheapest advertising. You're sitting in a stoplight and somebody tries to text in and write down the phone number or take a picture of the van. Oh, well, if they're going to take a picture of your van, let them take a picture of the QR code, which will automatically light up, and then it goes right to your website for you.
Hmm.
So there's so many unique ways. In market research, know your market. Know who your competitors are, know their price structures, know where the dog parks are, know where your shelters are. I mean, these are all very simple things that most people don't take the time to do. And by the way, just because you did it this year doesn't mean everything still exists from last year. There's new ones and some have gone away.
Hmm. Yep. Yep, things have definitely changed. We see, old school stuff like putting an ad in the newspaper, the yellow pages, to now a dog trainer could have a video go viral and they're booked out 3 months. And it's just new stuff that, us dinosaurs are like, what?
Well, you know what surprises me is I don't have to tell you this, but for the audience aspect, you'd be surprised if you polled the independent dog trainers or even the franchisee dog trainers, if you polled them at how many have current content, most of them haven't even got content. And people don't realize SEO, GMB, Meta, that's all stuff you can spend money on, do incredible creative, and you're going to pay per click. But AI is absolutely 100% pulling content. If you aren't putting even just a hello, good morning on there, that helps you.
Hmm.
But be surprised how many trainers and you can lead the horse to water, you can't make them drink, but content, content, content. Now, it's going to get to a point where quality content will be the one up. But right now, it's just you can post 30 seconds of just yourself and training the dog, walking the dog, and that will get you something more than somebody who didn't. And I'm
Hmm.
surprised how many trainers don't actually step to the line and do content.
Yeah, one pushback I hear is they're more of an internal type individual who just doesn't want to put themselves out there and doesn't want to risk, getting attacked or anything. And so they just don't do anything, like feet in cement, kind of nothing.
But don't put political views or opinions on
Mm-hmm.
dog training or
Yes.
use tools that some people are, say, controversial. Just go out there and have fun. Show a handoff, show a take home, show a pickup. Just show a dog sleeping on the couch and how relaxed and comfortable it is. Those are just simple things that kind of content gets traction. People don't realize it. Listen, the good dog trainers anyway are all introverts. That's why they're with the dogs, because the dogs understand them better than the people. But the reality of it is, you know, if you want to make more than a living, then you need to do more than what the average person would do.
Yes. Well said. What is something that felt hard in your business maybe a year ago? I know you've had, so many different businesses, but what's something that felt hard in your business, say a year ago, that feels easy now?
Okay, well, I can talk from two aspects. Responsibility. I don't think the average person that comes in and punches the clock realizes the feeling of obligation or stress that comes with that obligation of making payroll every week for everybody. In our day, we were feeding over 1,500 families collectively. And, if you had a bad week, there's a lot of stress that comes with that, a lot of stress. So that was something most people don't realize for me. But in the last year, what I've come to realize is a thing called founder syndrome. And especially with a company like Doc Dogs, because it was, 22 years of Doc Dogs was our life. We had our baby shower at a Doc Dogs event for Sydney. It was crazy at the World Championships. And it was really hard to, first and foremost, for me to let go. And even I watched Teresa, just didn't want to let go. But you know what? There are better people, not necessarily better people. There are better ways, better opportunities. And the next chapter is something's life. So founder syndrome was hard. So when you work to one job, I see it all the time. People who worked for us for, 12, 15, in some cases, 18 years, they still show up and bring coffee to the crew at the event, or they just can't let go,
Yeah.
So I think that founder syndrome is another tough thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that. Absolutely. All right. This one's a good one. What's a random experience that turned into a great story later?
A random experience. You can tell these questions weren't sent to me ahead of time because I have to think about those tough ones. A
And I'm
random
firing them at you
experience.
and not
Yeah.
giving you time.
Can I go? How far back can I go?
Whatever works for you.
A random experience that turned into an awesome opportunity. Is
Or
that what the question was?
a great story later.
So back in the day, I was involved in and orchestrated a thing called Lake Wow at the Toronto International Boat Show. It was the largest indoor body water ever made. And somebody said, hey, I was at a meeting with somebody about doing a promotion. And somebody said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you could do an indoor boat show? I said, well, yeah, it can be done. And for me, everybody just laughed except one person. Her name was Carol Bell. And she happened to be the president at the time of the National Marine Manufacturers Association. She said, can we have a coffee? And that experience, sitting down with her and feeling that she actually believed that I could do it, set my events career on fire. It was the snowball or the catalyst effect. And we built incredible trials and tribulations, but we built the world's largest indoor body water. And we didn't know what the name was going to be until we were building it. And I'll never forget, I brought Carol through the vomitory in the arena and walked her up the stairs, and the entire arena had 4 feet of water in it. And the first word that came out of her mouth was, wow. And we literally called the project in advance Lake Wow. So it was pretty cool.
That is cool. I have not heard that story before.
Yeah, that was water skiing inside, sailing inside, boats inside. It was a pretty unique thing. And to this day, they still have the lake at the boat show, but they use it now in a different capacity.
Awesome. Yeah, I hadn't heard of that, but maybe I left Toronto before you did the lake. Wow. All right. What is a small decision that ended up changing your life?
Small decision that ended up changing my life. Asking, not being ashamed to ask for help, overcoming my fear of asking for help. 2 years ago, I was stuck. Didn't know what I was going to do with the next chapter of my life. Thought that I'd conquered the world and figured out that money wasn't everything, success wasn't everything. And I picked up the phone one day and I asked for help. And just that little moment in time, like just making that phone call, opened up a whole new chapter. Hence, most of the stuff we've been talking about. It was incredible. The smallest things in life can give you the biggest return. You just have to look for them.
Yes, being open, not letting. I love those stories where you didn't miss it. Like you were open, you saw it, and it took you down this path.
Well, it goes back to the wins. Like I used to only look for the big wins, and just working double, triple. Can't shut off, can't shut off. And all of a sudden, when somebody else from the outside looking through a different lens comes up and taps you on the shoulder and says, "Look at your daughter's smile," or "Look how beautiful your wife is," or "Look at the success that you just had with the hot dogs event." The smallest little thing, you don't
Uh-huh.
see it because you're looking for the big thing. And those little things, those little, just taking them be. You'd be surprised what it feels like because then you start stacking them. Somebody told me this quote. Did you know that the World Series for the life of baseball has only ever been won by singles? Nobody ever
The
stepped
World
up and hit a grand.
Series.
No, every hit a single, hit a single, hit a single. The winning team just keeps hitting singles to win the game.
The
They don't go out and hit
Dodgers.
home runs in all the time.
No, I think the Dodgers did a walk-off grand slam though last year.
Yeah, but
Freddie Freeman. Us Canadians, man, we just get started on baseball.
baseball. But I mean, if you think about that, like you hit a single, you move everybody. You hit a single, you hit a single,
Yeah.
and then you get a home run, and then you win the World Series. Versus, oh, I got to swing for the fences every time and not be successful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, life is pretty interesting when you stop and, literally smell the roses.
Yes. All right. This one's good. If you could relive one day of your life, which would you choose?
Ooh. Personal or business?
Your choice.
The day Sydney was born. I would love to feel that feeling again. Don't get me wrong, we're very fortunate, but she's an only child. And that day, as long as that labor was, and as painful as my ears were bleeding from Teresa yelling at me all the time, having as much fun as we did, that moment in time, I will never forget that as long as I live.
Becoming a dad?
It was life changing for me. Like, it was scary as hell. Yeah. But just to see, to bring that life into this world in the way that you go through it, because again, we were so stuck in our work.
Mm.
There's a moment in time where everything stops. It's that moment. Yeah. It's an unbelievable sense of responsibility. Listen, I've delivered puppies. It's the same feeling. It's a little different, but it's the same feeling, like wow factor, right? I've delivered 2 horses in my life.
Oh.
But that's just it's incredible. If you could just live in that moment all the time, the world would have no shame. It would have no guilt. It would have no evil. It would be pretty cool.
That is cool. That is cool. All right. So that is my list of questions. I just fired them off at you, and thank you for answering them like back to back to back to back to back, like fastest ever. Is there anything else that you could share with us that might help dog trainers?
Yeah, I think, if we were to take an analytical approach about it, the pet space. If you look at the data, the pet space is not going anywhere. There's a lot of threats about AI. They're going to come up with software and apps and at-home do-it-yourself models, but you're never ever going to do away with the actual hands-on training and support of a real good dog trainer. So if you're good at your craft, you have a very, very strong career path. So I would stop worrying about it. I would use AI to the best of your ability to help you run your business or to help you be a better dog trainer, help you organize your time. There's so many things that people can do. Scheduling, calendarization, answering the phone, because every time you stop training a dog to answer the phone, you're losing revenue. So there's so many different ways that you could explore and benefit from AI. The other thing is, and I say this to our franchisees all the time, and I've said this actually across business. You need two of three things to be successful in dog training, or you need to have two of three things to be successful in any business. You need to be able to be the trainer. You need to be able to be the salesperson. You need to be able to be the business person. So you need two of those three skill sets. Sometimes with volume, you can get away with only having one of them. But if you have two of three, you can pay somebody else to be that. So you don't have to be a dog trainer to own a dog training business. If you can do sales and run a business, you can hire a great dog trainer. You don't have to be a great business person. You can hire a business manager, or you don't have to be a great salesperson. You can hire a salesperson. But once in a while, you'll get somebody that's all three. I'm looking at one on the screen right now. Great business person, great salesperson, an incredible dog trainer. And the success, speaks for yourself. What you've done with your life is incredible. I've watched it. I've watched it from 20 years ago to where we are now. It's incredible. And there are a few of you out there. There's a few gems like you out there. So I have to say, I'm pretty proud of what you've done and where we are today and where you're at today. It's incredible. So it goes without saying, you're an incredible person, an incredibly successful person. So
thank you. One thing that you just mentioned, having the sales skill, the business skill, and the dog training skill, and you have to do two out of the three. I think that what's important from that a lot of dog trainers don't want to hear is that you do have to have all three covered. And you are in the business of training dogs, so you have to have some element, like Grant said, of the business there. You can hire somebody or you do it yourself, but it has to still be done. You can't just, I know we do this because dogs are cool and we love dogs, but we still have staff to pay and, ourselves and our families to feed. And, maybe that one sale you're helping that client is a new set of Roughlins or giving your staff a raise. So having that business, the sales, is so critical in addition to being a good dog trainer.
we said earlier, like, dog trainers typically are personality wise an introvert. They don't want to mix with people. And the irony now is why I'm so confident that dog training as a whole, especially in the pet space, will be around for a long time, is because if you're a good business person, you don't have to do the work. You can now lean into AI and still be the best dog trainer you can be. And you can use AI assistants and AI different apps and modeling programs to run your business for you. Really, if you want to be. And a lot of introvert dog trainers tap into that. It's the same with sales. You can now use AI sales tools to help you with your sales. You don't necessarily have to be that high-end salesperson. The question is, are you that type of dog trainer who can stay leading edge in dog training technology and applications, different methodologies, and know enough to say, remember, look at the small things. Okay, if I just played with AI a little bit here, would it help me in my sales? Versus oh, I don't want to do it. I'm just going to make a living, or I'm not going to do it at all. I'm not going to be successful. It's the same with the bookkeeping and the business. And I mean, there's so much opportunity. Listen, the pet space is one of the best businesses to be in right now. It literally is recession proof. We know that. We've proven it.
Yeah, COVID
So
was a big one. In 2008, I was living in Las Vegas and we saw the great, housing market crash. You know, we survived through that no problem.
it is literally it's probably one of the safest industries you can be in. Now, the question is, you can make a great living at it, but if you want to be rich, then it just becomes a numbers game. The more trainers you have, the more revenue you produce.
I think from my past experience and what I know today, the thing that would be most affect my business in a very positive way would be implementing like a membership program. When I look back at running like 12 group classes a week, driving all over town, and just people are showing up for these unlimited free group classes that were included with their package. And yeah, we're getting the vehicles out there, we're getting exposure. But if we had have had those people paying, say, $30 a month, $147 a month to have access to something like that rather than just giving it away, that whole business model would have been so different, because instead of focusing on like that next board and train or that next package we're selling, we're like, how many more people did we add to that? Maybe small membership, but as it starts to grow, it's consistent and it's predictable. And I think that would be something I wish that I had have done back then. Nowadays, memberships, subscriptions are very popular. So it's easy to implement. There's no excuse not to implement it into your dog training business. The groomers are doing it. Everybody's doing it.
Well, I think recurring revenue models are the thing of the day today. I mean, that's where
Mhm.
they're at. And most of us don't even use them all. I can't even tell you how many subscriptions I have that are either duplicated or I don't use. But back then, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Back then,
Huh.
that's what we needed to do to be the best at our craft and get the sale against our competitor. And it worked out very, very well. I think at the end of the day, one of the things for me is the reoccurring revenue model. It's not too late to bring it into our business. So many franchisees, and listen, it doesn't matter if you're selling Subways, smoothies, dog training, so many have these membership programs that are free. I
Mhm.
think that a perceived value, if you start putting even the smallest, it's a data game. Maybe you're not going to get to 3,000, 4,000 members. Maybe you only get 300. But how much money is that 300 bringing you? And what are the rest of them? They're not coming anyway, or they're not paying you any money. So I think it's not too late. You bring up a really good opportunity for people to start exploring that.
Yeah, yeah. We teach that at Automation Dogs. We have a system, sales and system club for dog trainers where we teach, how to make more from what you've already got.
Well, I mean, the upsell is huge, and so many trainers, again, being a good business person, being a good salesperson, having the opportunity as a great dog trainer for the upsell, they all tie in. They all do. And if you can't do it, you make the introduction to your salesperson and they do it. So,
Yes. Awesome.
yeah, you and I
Eh,
think a lot alike. You and I we've always been in sync that way.
Yeah, it's been tough. Like I get all these creative ideas, much like I'm sure you do. I remember you coming out to Vegas and we went to that tanked place where they built the fish tanks, and you had this idea of, instead of how far the dogs can jump or how high, how deep can they dive, and just all these creative ideas that you take action on to pursue. And that's been my struggle bus a little bit, is I'm like, idea, idea, idea. And I had my coach actually tell me, like, stay focused on the one thing that you need to focus on. And that was actually good advice for me.
Yeah, it's interesting because you get pulled in different directions. Like at times I'm the squirrel. Oh, squirrel. Oh, squirrel. Oh, squirrel. Like, at times I'm that dog chasing the squirrel. But as you get older, as you go through tenure and with successes, and listen, you have to fail. You have to fail in order to appreciate what it feels like to win. And if you don't fail, you're not learning. Um, that's the reality of it. But one of the things is, there's the people that think about it, there's the people that talk about it, and then there's the people that do it. Who are
Mhm.
you? Who do you want to be? And, that's as old as the Stone Ages. At the end of the day, you and I are we're in the same car or the same bus. We're the doers. When we put our mind to something, we're doing it. And the rest of the people usually are, how did they do that? What happened? So 5% of the world is the doers. Everybody else is just coming along for the ride. And I like being in that 5%, or I like to think I'm in that 5%.
Yeah, I'd say you definitely are. Yeah, it's been pretty amazing to see all of the different businesses and the things that you've accomplished.
I love the challenge. I love when people, especially when I can help somebody now. That's what I'm thriving at. When somebody said to Lianne, "Oh, you're never going to be able to do this." And looks at me, and I would sit there and go, "Okay, let's go. We're going to do this." That feeling of helping somebody do something that somebody else told them they couldn't, that I love too. That's awesome. That gets my juices flowing.
And I forgot to ask, what kind of car is it that you race?
I had gotten hooked on the antiquated but absolutely incredible Dodge Viper.
Okay, I think I
And
saw that
we're
car.
racing Dodge Vipers against Porsches, and we're still beating them. So
When's your next race?
I am on a plane in 2 days, heading up to Holland, Michigan area, up to Gingerman Track for a road race. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, keep us posted. Awesome. All right.
Yeah, I love that. That's when I check out. That's my what did you call it? Psychological thriller. That's
Yeah.
when I stop thinking about everything else, and I'm just in that tunnel on the track in the car.
I think too, we've got some actionable takeaways that folks can implement right away, like just putting that phone away, maybe listening to some meditations, starting to implement that in the mornings. I think those are some great advice.
Work-life balance. That's the warning label.
Yeah.
Remember that one.
Yeah.
Work-life balance. Yeah.
Oh, it's a tough one.
It's
Awesome.
I know. Yeah. So I appreciate you having me on here. This has been I was wondering, I'm glad we didn't send the questions ahead of time, because I'm like, what is she going to come at me with? And you did not disappoint.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I don't like to be one of those boring podcasts, so I thought I've got to come up with some good icebreakers and some good questions that we can really go deep. And I don't ask these types of questions of everybody, but somebody with your life and history and story, I think it's great to hear your responses to those questions.
Well, listen, as always, you know where I am. You know how to get a hold of me. If anybody ever wants my input or insight, whatever little value it has, they can always reach me through you. You know that.
Yep, awesome. Anything else you'd like to add or share? Anything?
No, I think I'm excited for the years to come. I'm really excited between now and 2030 to see what the world evolves to.
Mhm.
But I'm watching AI. I'm just fascinated. I use it. I know you use it every day, every way you can. I'm still learning, and as an old man that's diving into the computer stuff, it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice how it helps us in everyday life.
Yeah, I'm excited to get my robot one day that can cook amazing meals for us and clean the house. And
Oh, you just reminded me of something. I have to tell you this story, Leanne, for the benefit of your listeners. So I was in Japan 2 months ago. I was over there for 10 days on a business trip. And I went to get a coffee in the morning, and I'm in the coffee line. Something catches my eye. And there's this lady, she's about 5'2", 5'3", standing there with one of those baby vests on. And in the baby vest was a robotic dog. I swear to God, it was a robotic dog. I have a picture. Remind me to send it to you. And I
please,
lost sight of her, and she went over and sat down, and the dog is sitting there and barking. I don't know what the programming on it is, but the dog was literally her companion, and she was talking to it and it was barking back at her. It was in the middle of a shopping mall in Tokyo, Japan.
like a service dog.
Literally like a service dog. How some of the people have the dog carriers for their
I
dogs,
do.
but I was just thinking to myself, what is the world coming to? I see all the stuff on robots, but oh my God. So, wow,
Wow. Okay, send me that picture, please. I'll share
it
it.
was mind blowing.
I'll share it. Awesome. Well, thank you, Grant. It was wonderful to chat with you today.
Been great. It's been an honor to be on your podcast. I thank you. Maybe someday we can circle back and do it again.
Yeah, we'll be heading to Florida in August, so we'll hopefully get to see your new boat.
Oh, you got to come in. Tampa is on fire. I can't wait to get you guys down here.
I love Tampa. Awesome. Well, thank you, Grant, and thank you to our listeners. I hope that you got some good takeaways for today, and thanks for listening.
Thank you.